The Trump administration has specifically targeted the worst of the worst. The individuals that we are going after are those that are violent criminals, those that are breaking our laws, and those that have final removal orders. And in many of these places, we've negotiated for their safe return back to their own home country. And if they're criminals, they will face consequences for their crimes.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is reportedly pushing for immigration and customs enforcement to buy and operate its own fleet of airplanes to carry out mass deportations. The plan ties directly to U.S. President Donald Trump's promise to deport 1 million undocumented immigrants per year if he returns to the White House. Remember, ICE has relied on charter flights for years, typically leasing 8 to 14 planes at a time to deport about 15,000 people each month. Former officials reportedly believe that if ICE owned its own planes, the agency could potentially double deportations to more than 30,000 each month. Reports suggest that internal data show that during his first 6 months, ICE deported between 100,000 and 150,000 people, including voluntary departures. A major obstacle is cost. Experts estimate commercial airliners range from $80 to $400 million each, depending on the aircraft. That means purchasing 30 planes, the number needed to meet Trump's deportation target, could cost between $2.4 and $12 billion. At present, charter companies maintain planes and ensure they comply with federal aviation safety and security regulations. But if ICE operates its own airline, the agency would need to hire pilots, medics, and security while managing full maintenance. The Trump administration's Big Beautiful Bill allocates $30 billion specifically for ICE deportation operations. In total, that sweeping law boosts ICE's budget to more than $75 billion, up from $9.5 billion annually. By July this year, ICE had already chartered over 1,000 flights, each costing about $25,000 per flight hour, as per reports. However, critics have warned that running a federal deportation airline could add enormous costs, even as detention centers face severe overcrowding.
The Trump administration has specifically targeted the worst of the worst. The individuals that we are going after are those that are violent criminals, those that are breaking our laws, and those that have final removal orders. And in many of these places, we've negotiated for their safe return back to their own home country. And if they're criminals, they will face consequences for their crimes. I'm grateful for the fact that we have a president that stands up for the everyday American, and I would be thrilled if people would talk about the fact that when you get a rapist off the street, how many families have we protected? When you get a murderer off the street, a pedophile off the street, look at the families that will never have to be victims because that work was done. Too much time is spent focusing on these criminals when you should be focusing on the people who have been victims in the past and the fact that we're stopping future people from becoming victims as well. There's a large case built against Abrego Garcia, and people will continue to see that throughout trial, and they'll continue to see that throughout this case. I will say that him consistently being surrounded and working with those gang members to traffic individuals across the state for many, many years and working in conjunction with them and targeting individuals of rival gangs against MS-13 and even helping to help facilitate the murder of a mother of one of the rival gangs that is opposed to MS-13. All of that builds into a case of work that has been done for many years against this individual. He is a monster. And he is tied to a terrorist organization that has perpetuated violence against human beings for many, many years. My hope is that he will stand trial and get the consequences of his actions and that justice will be served for his victims.
And he brought up Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connor that he's been going after ICE agents. I had an interaction with him when he said the real concern is not releasing the names of ICE agents, but
No, that is a real concern. It is a real concern that he has jeopardized them and their families. They face violent acts. Their families are targeted. They're doxxed. Their personal information is put out there, and people are treating them horrifically. All of the agents and officials within HSI and ICE. Rioters, criminal thugs, legacy media, open border politicians. Often you'll hear them standing up and defending the evil criminals that I've been talking about. And in the meantime, what they're doing is smearing and doxing our agents and putting them and their families at risk. Leftists have doxxed, attacked, and tried to intimidate the men and women who uphold our laws and keep our streets safe. And now our ICE officers are facing an 830% increase in violence against them and their families. One of the open border politicians is right here in this state and is right here in this city. And I'm specifically calling out the mayor of Nashville. Mayor Freddie O'Connell has gone after our ICE individuals and agents that work with HSI. He's openly doxxed them, revealed their information to the public, encouraged people to work against them in their efforts to clean up the streets of Nashville, and he has forced his city officials, his employees of the city of Nashville, to document every single interaction that they have with federal immigration authorities. President Trump campaigned on immigration enforcement. The American people voted for immigration enforcement. They voted to clean up their streets and get these criminals out of our country. I'm very proud of the fact that since President Trump has been in office, we have removed over 600 known and suspected terrorists out of the United States of America, that we have brought thousands of gang members from MS-13, TDA, and brought them to justice and deported them out of our country. We're continuing to go after these criminals to protect American citizens. And now that the President's big, beautiful bill is passed, we have the resources to double down. We will bring more agents to Nashville. We will bring more resources to this state. And we will make sure that even though politicians continue to play politics and try to lie about what the work is that we're doing to make America safe again, that we will continue to fight for the families that live here and make sure that these child pedophiles, these rapists, and these murderers are off our streets. We will never apologize for protecting the American people. President Trump is working hard every day to make sure that this is a country where the rule of law is applied equally to everybody, that illegal criminals are not placed above or prioritized above the American citizens that live here and work and are just pursuing the American dream. We have operations ongoing throughout the country every single day in communities everywhere. So I would not say that anyone could show that they're highlighted in Hispanic communities. They're highlighted in areas that we know we have investigative work and case work to show that we may have enforcement mechanisms that need to be put in place because we have criminal activities ongoing.
Well, my audience is predominantly Latino, so they kind of every day say they're fearful because a lot of people have been targeted based on their skin color, not necessarily.
That is not true. And so that has been another false narrative that has been put out there in the media that I absolutely want to throw back at you and say that is absolutely false, and don't you dare ever say that again. We have judges out there and other individuals saying people have been targeted that way, and it's not true. Every single operation that we do on ICE is based on investigative work and on case work to show that there is a reason and reasonable suspicion to go into an area and to talk and look at individuals that are involved in criminal activity.